India has reached a watershed for the science and innovation. The period of 2015 to 2020 has been a watershed for the science and innovation in India. With a stable government, a large number of policies and the programs have been developed to encourage an innovation culture and absorb the major emerging technology, the future trend, technology of the future, such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, electric vehicles, robotics, Internet of Things, 3D printing, manufacturing sectors, revolution in manufacturing sector. The persistent shortage of well-trained scientists and the engineers is an impediment for the development of this technology through the economy. Boost the economy that's driven by the technology. The implement and there is insufficient domestic investment in research and development, and research intensity is stagnant and patenting by the domestic corporations, the research institute, universities, and the individuals that remains low. According to the UNESCO science report, on the positive side, intangible investment by the private corporations are on the rise, and it is an investment in R&D by the foreign multinational corporations. The latest edition of this UNESCO report, that an important global analysis is published on every 5 years, and that released on June 21st, covering this period of this last report. And the latest edition, that is subtitled "The Race Against the Time for the Smarter Development," that contains the chapter of India written by a renowned professor. According to the report, India has made a solid progress towards some of its targets for the sustainable development goals, especially those under 9 concerning of the development of the industry, infrastructures, and innovations. India research report remain unsatisfactory. According to the report, with an average overall gross domestic expenditure on research and development over the 2 decades of merely a small amount of 0.75% of GDP. India has one of the lowest gross domestic expenditure on research and development. The GDP ratio among the BRICS nations, the group of nations of Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa. The research intensity declining, but some of the key strengths are also evolved that's come out in India's favor. The prospect of India's economic growth that is driven by those innovation and technology. That's while the absolute term, the research expenditure has risen consistently over the past 14 years, and India's research intensity has been declining since 2014. The report said, estimated report as the government science and technology policies of 2003 fixed a threshold of devoting at 2% of the GDP to the research and development by 207 actually, the year. The target date was set back to 2018 in the new science, technology and innovation policy, again by 2022 by the Prime Minister Economic Advisory Council. In 2020, the task force that has been, you can say, adapting the country's new science and technology policies recommended that pushing back the target date due to the more realistic 2030 as of October 2020, as no date has been yet set for the official release of the science and technology policy document. Despite the country's modest research intensity, scientific output has maintained an upward trajectory since the 2015, and the Indian scientists have even overtaken their Japanese peers for the sheer volume of publications. Indian researchers are publishing more than the global average on key topics related to agriculture, production, health, and sustainable energy. The production of its research and its publishing output that are, you can say that on climate ready crops is triple the global average. It's Output is more than twice the global average on medicine and the vaccine for the TB, traditional knowledge, water harvesting, maintaining those genetic diversity, and the pest-resistant crops. That those are the report has come after the research has been made, and Indian researchers are publishing those reports. And Indian researchers publishing, you can say, between 1.5 and 1.8 times the global average on smart grid technologies and photovoltaics, biofuels, and the biomass and wind turbine technologies, complementing the government push to expand the green energy sources. One of the fastest growing research topics has been sustainable transportations, with the publication from 754 in 2012-15 to almost 3,000 during 2016 to 19. This tenure publication on greater battery efficiencies almost triple over the same period, from 1091 to 3190. These trends reflect the push to development those electric cars in India. The university sector accounted for 7% of gross expenditure in research and development in 2018, up from the 4% in 2015. The government new national education policy also that advises those establish a national research foundation to fund those university research. This could provide a much needed boost for academic research in India. The government in the country's low researcher density, there is a little quantitative evidence to show that demand for science, engineering, technologies, and mathematics graduates has increased, and investment in R&D has not kept pace with the rise in those countries' GDP. And foreign multinational Indian enterprises are spending more on R&D, but overall research intensity is stagnant. Domestic patenting remains very low. The point of the government is encouraging more students to enroll in the science and engineering degree program, but relatively low employability of graduates remain a concern, and the employment opportunities for the STEM graduate, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, that are not increased. The employability of those STEM graduates rises from 34% in 2014 to 49% in 2019, which means every other graduate is jobless. And employability is a key government concern. It's a national skill development mission that aims to train around 400 million people by 2022. Overall fears about the prospect of automation displacing the jobs on large scale in India that have been heightened by the phenomena of jobless growth since 1991. The jobless growth phenomena has thus been accentuated with those losses as economy in 2017 for the first time since the country's independence. The automation does not present a serious threat to manufacturing employment. However, with related technologies that are developing quickly, many tasks previously considered beyond the realm of automation might become automated in the near future. This could radically alter the employment landscape in India and beyond. These measures have been taken in government for the recent years to combat the high levels of youth employment, including among the tertiary graduates, have been largely without a due regard for analyzing the structural causes of this problem. And most of the important issues of the country's sustainable development is the effect of climate change for the adoption of new technologies, and this effect of climate change on economic activity. The coal-fired power plant that pushed up those carbon emission in 2018, India is hastening the diffusion of clean energies, technologies such as solar panels and electric vehicles. There are more than 4 lakh electric two-wheelers and several thousand electric cars on the country's road. Apart from the sales, there are technological barriers to faster adoption of those electric vehicles. And only a handful of those Indian states that have made those major advancement in meeting their renewable energy goals. The Make in India is one of the several government strategies that designed to nurture those adoption of those emerging technologies across the wider economy. That's all for now. I hope this information is useful. See you in the next video.